My name is Lina Krüger. I'm a somatic practitioner and an artist and an explorer of the spiritual dimension, aka consciousness. And the project Waves of Becoming is an ongoing research and an experiment to merge the spirit with the body, to enter into the spirit through the body and vice versa, through movement, touch, voice work, dancing and authentic movement. The first round of this project took place here in Berlin, and it was about intimacy. A range of what we can mean when we talk about intimacy, starting with just a question of how can we create a space of physical and psychological intimacy for each one and also collectively together, and to the other end of the range, which would be the more wide, mystical understanding and also experience of intimacy. Yeah, so for me in the last years there has been a quite intense search for silence and peace of mind, and I think my basic question for this project is how can I share this silent place with others, and how can we create this silent place together collectively. We would just start to improvise, and we would just be this like morphing collective body in touch and with humming and sounding, and magically found ourselves in all kinds of forms, like reminded me of animals or water movement or seaweed. Yeah, so this was really beautiful to realize, oh wow, people are so ready for that, and we need that, we want that. Yeah, touch can be so healing. You know? It's a simple touch, I feel, can sometimes be much, much more soothing than a social hug. And it becomes extremely nourishing, I feel, when we do that together, when we dive as a group in that together, in this giving and receiving touch. Because when we do it as a group, we can overcome the social and the romantic side of that very fast. And it becomes already so much more universal, this way of relating. And then what does it evoke in me? There's maybe an emotional tone that's quite surprising for me, and a whole world can come out of this place. So how can we, with this simplicity, evoke inner processes and help to support each other's inner processes? And this kind of improvisation that includes a lot of touch can also be very powerful in helping us to find and to feel our own boundaries. It's much more playful, I would say, and also much more direct and instinctual. Like I can push you away, or I can roll you softly away, and make clear that this is, I'm not ready, I don't want touch at the moment, or not in this way. And it's quite likely that in a big group with very different temperaments of people, we touch into these places. And then it's also a space of feeling into that, of honoring this. Create a space where we can share about these experiences, and we care. And what I personally really like is this moments of having the feeling of falling apart physically, pleasantly. Do I touch one person right now, or is it two bodies I'm touching, or who's touching me? Is it a belly that is touching me, or is it a head? The bodies become very puzzled, and for me that is already an analogy into more into the experience of the mystic experience, like the falling away of boundaries. The element of voice is functioning like a constant reminder of connecting us in the body and into the senses. And it's also functioning like a second layer along the movement and touch as a field of communication. So what we basically did a lot was finding places we want to voice from, for example, the heart space. And then when we voice from these places, and full-heartedly, then that creates an immense vibrational field of communication. We start to explore how we are actually looking, and we see into the layers of thinking, like how we are projecting a small little something inside myself, and how we project that also to the other person. Like when I look at you, I have the impression that, or I project onto you that in your eyes, in your head, there is some small, dense, individual self in there. And so with these very sweet and playful ways of exploring that, we look into that. Is that actually true? Can I find a separate self in you, looking at you? And can you find a separate self in me? And seeing that this is only a thought. And then what can happen when we explore that with these little experiments, that there can be a shift happening from being two to one wide, open, experiential field of selflessness, if you want. Here we have it's a little bit of a stage moment. The outer circle, there is like sort of an audience called the witness here, And now the mover is stepping in that field and is exploring and just is in a very alive feedback with how to relate, just feeling what the space evokes and what wants to emerge from here. And the witness is outside and is holding the space for this process to happening. And of course, the mover is very dependent in a way from how much my witness is awake. When both mover and witnesses are very, very honest, very present, very much like in this mood of we come together into the space and we don't know what will happen, then from this connection somehow it can become very intense, and it can bring some sort of magic in what possibly can happen between these two. It's like creating a field, an energetic field, and telepathic field that possibly evokes very deep inner processes. Yeah, and it's about trust also, like to listen in and to being moved by life, but also the connection to the witness, the relating to each other, that is always there and that is giving us some idea about the importance of what we are doing. And it's also about meeting the crisis, the phase of confusion. It feels very intimate. It feels very vulnerable to meet each other in this unmasked ways. On a personal level, yes, the person is here, and that which is beyond the personal is also here. It's about a shift in perception. And it's like the world, you, suddenly steps a step towards me. Actually, you step inside me. I look at you and I feel like this is me. And that brings about this kind of shine, a halo, a light into the experience.